So, good evening, dear all participants, and welcome you all to the international webinar on football training basics, organized by Department of Basic Sciences and Humanities in association with Sports Club of Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology, Cochin. I can start with a famous quote from Johan Cruyff. When you play a match, it is statistically proven that players actually have the ball 3 or 4 minutes on average. The important thing is that you do during those 87 minutes without the ball. Football is a brain game. Where to run, when to run, when to cover, when to press, when to move, how to move, and how to decisions like these are come from the brain that determines whether you are a good player or not. It's my immense pleasure to introduce today's resource person. He is Mr. Justin Padickakudi, a U8 football trainer, FC Sadlo, Vienna, Austria. Mr. Justin is originated from India, born and brought up in Austria. Professionally, he is an electronics and communication engineer. He worked as a protocol engineer in Samsung, Poland, STM Research, Chris, Korea. Presently, he is the innovation manager in advanced engineering, Hella, Vienna. From the sporting side, from the football side, he was an excellent footballer. He played under 12, under 16 Austria national team. He played football for various clubs in Poland. He played for Galam FC, Korea, Vienna FC, Geneva FC, Switzerland, and FC Dutch, Austria. On behalf of Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology, and on behalf of all participants of this international webinar and my personal behalf, I welcome Mr. Justin Padickakudi for the international webinar on training football basics. So thank you, and over to you, Mr. Justin.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this warm welcome and welcome to Football Training Basics. Can you already see my shared screen?
Yes, Justin.
Okay. So today I will be focusing on how I conduct my training and how I conduct my matches. If there's one thing I would like you to take from this football training seminar is to teach your players courage. From that quote before from Johan Cruyff, these players who make the difference are the players who have courage, who have the confidence, who perform different types of tricks. These are the players which will make a difference in a game and ultimately lead to the team winning. Another aspect for elite football players is how to deal with failure. So I would like to start this webinar with a video. I'm an under-8 coach at a football club called FC Stadlau. We are a club which produces youth football players who then, if they're good enough, when they're under 14, under 16, make a bigger step and go to clubs like Rapid Wien, LASK, or even Red Bull Salzburg. So this is a game I would like to show how most people play their game. The blue team are focused on passing, and the orange team are just focused on winning. So I'd just like to show you this video. Okay, I would like to stop the video here. The goalkeeper has the ball. The two left defenders have to start the game sequence. In this case, this player, he is not interested in wanting the ball. So his body language already says that he doesn't want the ball. When he gets the ball, we want the player to be courageous and try things he has practiced in training. Instead, this player gets under pressure and passes the ball. Now the goalkeeper realizes that the ball, that we can't start the game from the back. So what does the goalkeeper do? He shoots the ball forward, the attacker comes and he scores a goal. So my question is, what have the players learned here? What are we teaching the players? Is it important to score goals and to win? Or is it more important to teach the players fundamentals of football? I'm going to show you another video now of our team. And please just look at the difference of this game. So this player, when he gets the ball, immediately tries tricks, tries things that they have been practicing in our trainings. Immediately does the tricks which we are practicing. The player wants to score, so the player scores. So this is the main focus of our training, to teach the players courage, to teach the players to take risks. Because at the end of the day, the best players are the ones which make a difference in being courageous, being confident, and performing tricks. So my question to you, these are the stats of this year's of our team. We've played 18 games, and in those 18 games, we've scored over 250 goals, which means we've scored over 14 goals per game. They're all different scorers. We don't have a superstar in our team. So my question is to you. My question is to you. Is scoring goals and winning, is that a good football indicator? Is that a good performance indicator for youth football? So I've started a poll here, so you can vote if yes or no is important, that scoring goals and winning is important. All right. I'll start the show again. So how do I achieve these results in the training? One thing we do is on the training ground. One thing that we practice are our building blocks. I call them building blocks, or the fundamentals of football, which are tricks. In this case, this player, these are all the different tricks we practice. We practice them meticulously. Players at this age are able to learn and automate certain motions if they constantly practice them. So our base of our training is to develop courage through training different types of tricks. We have over 80 different tricks, over 10 different shooting strategies, over 10 different passing techniques. So these are the basics which we are training. As you can see, this player is doing the trick with the right foot. shooting with the left foot, they have to do both left and right foot. The way we teach courage is for them to fail. So when they get a correction from the coaches, because they have failed, they're able to create a substance called myelin in their brains, which is responsible for the synapses and the signals sent to the muscles. So by training courage and by improving your form, you create more myelin, which is then deposited on your nerves, which then leads to automation. So the kids at this young age will learn how to automate motions by practice. Another change or a different thing we do at training is, when back in the days when we would train ourselves, we would have the situation, two players have a ball, they pass the ball back and forth, one touch, two touch, or even perform a trick. But in this situation, the kids are just doing a pass motion and a control motion. Instead of this type of technique, we are, for example, employing a similar approach, but the white player passes the ball to the black player, he controls it. The white player becomes the defender. At the cone, he does a trick, does a turn by the end of the cone and passes the ball back. So in this simple training method, we are practicing ball control, one-on-one, turning, and passing. Who remembers when they were training and the coach would set up a cone, all the players would be behind the ball. The player is supposed to perform a trick and shoot. By the time it's the last player's go, 2.5 minutes have passed. So effectively, I've measured this time actually. So 2.5 to 3 minutes have passed. So in 1 hour, this player has 20 actions. So we'll touch the ball a bit more than 20 times. What's important is that the players touch the ball maximum number of times. We have to increase the number of repetitions and the number of trainings. So what do we do? In case of the previous, these are 12 players, 1 goal, and there's a lot of waiting time. Instead of this, I split the group into 2 groups of 8 and further split the group into another group of 4. So I have here 4 players, the black, orange, white, and blue, and they are performing a certain exercise, which we do. In this case, the white player does a trick, shoots on goal, comes back, gets a second ball from the orange player, does a double pass, and scores. So in this training session, the player can score twice. There's a double pass in between, and they're scoring on the goal twice. All the players rotate, so all the players get familiar with all the different types of exercises and ranges of exercises required. So just by adding 2 goals, splitting the groups, we have increased the efficiency of our trainings. In modern football, goals are scored in the final third. In modern football, you only need 4 players to score a goal. And these basic principles are also what we are teaching the players from under 6 to under 9. So we give the players match objectives rather than objective being score a goal. They get match objectives, and in that way, the players instinctively train the last third on how to score goals. I will just go over to the training objectives. So as a coach, the focus should be tricks. The focus should be as many touches as possible. The focus should be developing the player's control and developing the player's ability with the ball. I would also like to mention, you don't see any warm-up. You don't see training with just running with the ball. At this age, the muscles of the players can only take that much conditional training. But the players at this age can improve their technical abilities much faster. When the players are after 12 years old, the technical ability capacity decreases. So this is the perfect time to teach the players ball stability and, most importantly, tricks. The trainings are always inclusive, which means boys and girls play together, good players play with bad players, tall players play with short players. So you need to include this inclusivity in the trainings and in the matches. It furthers the development of every single player. Our task is to develop every single player, not to develop a team. The team business comes after under 12. Here is just some stats on showing the training attendance of the players. The dotted line is 75%. Everyone above, which is represented by the orange, has more than 75%. There are only a few players which don't come. I've made a match objective, which is if you don't come to training, you don't play. That's the reason. That's another motivation why every player is frequently consistent coming to training. You can see in this case, Moritz, he has 100% training attendance, and also he scores the most goals per game. He has an average of 4 goals per game. So you can see a correlation with hard work also leads to results. All right. So for the match, we set our players' match objectives. Most important, have fun, enjoy, be creative, implement what you have trained in practice, show us what you can do. Show exactly, if you've practiced something in training yesterday and you have a match the next day, try those things. Failure is learning. If you fail, get up, try it again. Try it again, try it, always keep trying. A winner is not a person who constantly wins. A winner is someone who fails and learns and knows how to get up and try again. This is exactly what we're teaching them, to be courageous, to have confidence, and to never give up, and to learn out of your failures. We focus mainly on offensive. By the under 8, we're not doing any defensive training at the moment. The players, when we don't have the ball, they only have one objective, which is the 5-second rule. I count down from 5 to 0, and in that time, the players have to get the ball. That is our only training strategy, our defense strategy we have. For the offense, there are 3 objectives mainly. Do tricks, play the final pass, and shoot on target. Some coaches say, shoot, 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 but the player, where should he shoot if you just say shoot? You need to give them specific instructions on where to shoot, on how to shoot. Players in our training, if they don't shoot on the goal, they have to do push-ups. This simple change, already players will automatically try to hit the goal more efficiently. All right. So last point I would like to make is, in the match, I mentioned inclusivity. For the match, we do the same. I have a rotation principle, which we employ. Every player has the same playing times. Every player plays the same positions. and there is players with boys or girls, big or tall, everyone has the same chance. Why is this important? We need to develop the players on every position. In the modern game, nowadays, in the first half, a team will play one formation. In the second half, or even within halves, they change formation. So our players need to be flexible and know every position to be able to play these positions. Some clubs, what they do is the first team plays in a certain way. So the youth teams also have to employ this tactical principle. However, I feel we need to build the building blocks for all players. So the players need to know how to play in a 4-4-2, and in different types of formations. So please teach them all the building blocks. Then when they're older, they'll be able to use these building blocks. All right. So I would like to finish off with a video showing a different player, how he's courageous, how he's trying. This is actually the second game they're playing on the big pitch. They're playing 6+1 here. Oh yeah, what I wanted to mention is in Austria, the player groups are different. In under 6, we only play 1 against 1. Why? To build courage. In under 7, 2 players increased. By under 8, we play 4+1. In under 9, we play with 6 players outside and 1 goalkeeper. So this is the reason of doing this is to increase the ability of the players so that they become courageous and confident on the ball. Communication is another point during the match time. Don't tell them negative stuff. If they make a mistake, they're allowed to make mistake. Give them an advice how to improve that. For example, a player shoots over the goal. Don't say, why did you shoot over the goal? Or give the player questions. Give the player positive advice that he can use for the next situation. In that situation, you tell him, put your upper body below the ball, then maybe then the ball will go in. Or use your left foot, use your right foot. Give them advice which they can use later on in the game. All right, so I'm going to start this video. Just see what these players have learned in a year and a half. Okay, let's go. Play. He does a trick, ziehen Fußwechsel, shoots. Tries a back heel. He's 7 years old. He wants to score, he goes and he tries. So the players have to develop courage. Trick, shot on goal. Sometimes the match objective is before you touch when you touch the ball, you have to immediately do a trick. Pass with the back heel again. Trick. So let me scroll forward. Tries a shot, try it. Don't worry, just give it a try. Okay, I'm going to scroll forward. Okay, watch this situation. The player gets the ball from the goalkeeper. The defenders have the objective to either run along the line or cut into the middle. Okay. Just to show you the last situation again. Gets the ball. Did you notice he did not stop the ball? We don't stop the ball. We take the ball with us immediately. Stopping and first contact in one motion. Does a trick, finds space, looks, pass. This player has to control the ball with the left foot with a Druck pass the ball to his right and take a shot, or see this player in the distance and pass him the ball with one touch with the left foot. Instead, he controls it with the right foot, and that gives this player time to close him down. So these things we show the players, and then we tell them this match situation, you have to improve it in that way. All right, thank you very much for the time and the opportunity to do this presentation. I would like one thing for you to take with you is to teach the players courage. If there's one thing you remember from this, is to teach the players courage and to let the players be creative. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this webinar.
Thank you, Justin, for your wonderful presentation. And dear participant, if you have any clarification from Justin or any doubts regarding football training, basic trainings, you can please add your points in the chat box, and Justin will another 5 minutes for the discussions. So Justin will answer you. Please share your queries with the chat box if you have.
Yes, please. If anyone has any questions, please feel free. If you need some time to think about it, you can also email me. Hast du mich jetzt? Ich höre gar nichts. Any questions? Anything?
Justin, we have a question from a participant. At which age is the best to start the basic training for football? Can you please?
Basic training, you can start when the kids can already walk. So the sooner, the better. Players at the age around 6, 7 are able to grasp much very technical concepts very easily, because all these concepts are new to learn. So at the age of 6 to 9 is the perfect age for the kids to absorb the fundamentals of football. If players haven't done this by the age of 12, it is very difficult for them to learn these motions. It is more difficult for a player to unlearn and to relearn. So if a player has done a certain shot a certain way when he's 12 years old, and it's incorrect form. For him to unlearn this and learn the new form is very, very difficult. So the best time is for observing is 6 to 9, but you can start when the kids already are walking with a sponge ball, with a small ball. Ball control is the most important.
Thank you, Justin. And another question from Dr. Anish Babu PV
Yeah.
is that, can you suggest a few tips to improve courage in players with ball and without ball?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Can you suggest few tips to improve courage in players with ball and without ball?
Okay. So first thing, I don't do any training without ball. So every single training involves a ball. If a player is punished and he has to run around, he does it with the ball. How do you encourage courage? I think the most important is to give the players the feeling of success. So if the player scores on a goal and scores in a training exercise, he gets a feeling of achievement and a feeling of success. So this has to be nurtured. By a trick. In another case, if it's a very difficult trick, he can't do it. He will feel that he's not able to do it. But you have to create the positive mindset. If the mindset is already set, then half of the work is already done. So it is in your hands to encourage courage by positive communication and by the correct correction methods in a positive way.
Thank you, Justin, again. And we have another question from Varun Nair.
Yes.
At what age do you make the transition from a small-sided game to an 11-side match?
All right.
At
Thank
what
you,
age
Varun.
do you
Very,
make-
very important question.
Yeah.
We train in small groups. We train in small groups from three to maximum 5-a-side. Even our under 12 teams, they don't play 11 against 11. They play maximum 5 against 5. Why? Exactly referring back to that Johann Cruyff quote. More than half of the time, you don't have the ball. One person has the ball out of 22 players. Everyone else is just watching this player. So to increase training efficiency, always try to train in the smallest number of groups possible. Till under 12, I recommend small-sided games, 3 against 3, maximum 5 against 5, and not more.
Okay, and two more questions are there from Vinod Kumar. Sir, is it our kids can reach highest level of football? I mean, can we play World Cup level if training small age level training?
Definitely. I mean, that is also in your hands, all your coaches. The players see you as the coach. You are the motivator. So you need to give the players, maybe you call them unrealistic goals, but you need to give the players some dream. My players, for example, since they're 6 years old, I tell them we are going to play Champions League final. The kids, now it's already automated in their head. That is their goal. They have to achieve. They want to play in Champions League final. If they do some exercise unconcentrated in training and match, I ask them, is that how you're going to do your trick in the Champions League final? You know you can do it better, so do it better. So definitely you can train it. One thing in football is talent, and the other thing is hard work and putting in the work. A Ronaldo is not a Ronaldo because he's just talented. It's because he, after training, goes home, trains again. if you want to be a good player, you have to be that player. You have to be the player who comes before training, who stays at the end, who goes home and juggles the ball for 2 hours. Our players have that. You need to create that motivation. For example, for Christmas, I bought, or the training staff bought the players footballs for Christmas. Half of the players immediately wanted to play with the ball. Half of the players wanted to sleep with the ball, because that's the passion we are creating for the players.
Okay, another last question, Justin. How to identify the position? I mean, goalkeeper, defense, midfield of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
from
So
how we identify the
for,
position in kids.
for football under 12, there is no position. We don't. We play without goalkeeper. Because we rotate. We also rotate the goalkeeper. So every player has to be acquainted to every type of position. Of course, there will be times where a player wants to play a striker or a player wants to play defender. In that cases, you should let them, because the player knows where his limits are and where his capabilities are. Starting from under 13, that is when the players can focus and select a position. But before then, let them play all positions. Because the skills you learn when you're a central midfield player are different to when you're a winger. What usually happens, you put the fast players on the wing because they're fast, and that's the only thing they learn for years and years. Put that player in the central midfield so he learns how to deal with pressure from all different types of directions. So I recommend they need to have the building blocks to be able to play the position they want later on. That is your objective, to create this courage for these players.
Another question from Varghese. Does eyesight has much importance in football for kids?
Football is played with the 5 senses. Football, you need eyesight, you need good ears, you need good reaction time. If a player is technically the same as you, has the same speed as you, what advantage can you get or do to get past this player? The only advantage you have is the reaction. So by doing a trick, you gain a small reaction advantage to your opponent, and you have to use this small difference to make a difference in the game as well.
Thank you, Justin. And here is the last question, last and final question. How to avoid kids from getting injured? How to train the kids to be physically fit to play when they are move on to the next level? This question from Ebin Benny.
Yeah. Well, kids, what is the reason for kids to get injured in the first place? One reason is their quality, they're overconfident. They're trying certain things which they are not ready to do yet. So in that case, practice, practice, practice. When they know how to do a step over, after practicing 200 times, they will know how to do a step over. They will have the courage to do it efficiently. Second reason of injuries is if you don't pass the ball. If you don't pass the ball in the right time. Those are the 2 reasons of injury. So how can you change this? Improve the quality of the players, and employ maybe a match objective for players who keep the ball too long. Sometimes I use one-time dribble, one-time pass. So the players who dribble too much can dribble once, and then they have to pass the ball. The players who don't dribble at all are forced to pass and are forced to dribble. So you have to think about your own match objectives so you can train certain aspects of your game. And avoiding injury is the main cause of it, is lack of quality and lack of awareness for the game.
Justin, one more question. Impact of punishment negatively or positively at the age of 6. Impact of punishment negatively or positively at the age of 6. This is question.
Well, punishments, in a sense, for example, I do. If players come late, they have to take a ball and they have to do 20 different. They have to do one trick 20 times. So in a sense, it is punishment, but in another sense, they're actually gaining something from this punishment. So I even had a situation where one player was coming. The players know already. They come. They're 30 seconds late, and I tell them immediately 20 times this trick, and they do it. Some players see that even positively. They're like, from now on, I will always come late because then I can practice this trick by myself. So it depends what you want to achieve with your punishments. So my punishments are a punishment in one sense, but actually they gain something out of it, rather than you're punished, sit in the corner. You're punished, run a lap. They need to be functional punishments. Everything, every minute you have is important. So don't waste your time, and make sure the players touch the ball as many times as possible.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Thank you once again. On behalf of Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology, Kochi, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to Mr. Justin Padickakudi for his wonderful session on the basics of football training. And once again, I thank all the participants of this webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.